Man, ReZero, I can't keep doing this. For most of the show's run, I've just pushed away the sus allegations about Al because I thought to myself, hey, man in a helmet, whatever. People got their doubts about the guy. He says some shady things sometimes. I just say whatever, I'll live with him. Then, in a casual ReZero short, they confirm Al is in fact an isekai character. So that's now canon. But then he's the one who picks up the phone when Emilia calls, and that ain't looking good. And I'm saying, you know what? I pushed off the allegations long enough. I am now a team do can't be trusted. And what do they do in this episode immediately? They put me back to square one. He picked up the phone because he killed everyone with the phone. It's gonna be season 9 and we're still not gonna know what to think about him. Does he seem like a homie? Yeah. But they're making this shit a mystery. They refuse to take his helmet off. I've seen theories range from this man's gonna be a failed version of Subaru, that he's gonna be like Subaru's dad. It's like everyone doesn't know. We do get a glimpse of what he looks like, his eyes, and shit, man. Like, are we gonna go the route that this is Subaru in the future, or is this dude just meant to be a goddamn troll? I don't know. I was 100% convinced we had to kill this man after last week's episode. If you watch after the credits, right? Like, maybe some people didn't watch. But yeah, like, him picking up the phone was the most sus thing imaginable. And now we're back to square one. I can't keep doing it. Either you tell me I can trust a damn guy, or you tell me I can't, because my heart's gonna explode. But for a 30-minute episode, man, I think it was like official like 29 and 30 seconds, something like that. We are so back, and Subaru's VA, in my opinion, top 10 performance of his career as Subaru, because that speech was incredible. Now, of course, I have full live reactions over on Patreon. If you want to see my full and thought of these episodes, it's over there exclusively. So, yeah, like, I'm not gonna say this was his best overall. Like, this was probably like number 10, if we're being honest. But man, it's still a top 10 nonetheless. The thing about Subaru's VA is when he really gets into his role, whether that's pain, whether that's emotional, whether that's just passionate, it doesn't really come across as like, oh, someone's reading a script. Like, this feels like someone actually, in this case, giving a speech to a bunch of survivors who are scared for their life. The range that he went from starting off as kind of like timid, scared, worried, not really confident, it's very shaky, very intimidated, to then starting to get passionate, to then boldly just announcing like, bitch, I killed an archbishop. We gonna do this. But most importantly, am I gonna do it alone? And having them, like, even though he can't hear them speak back, the fact that they can hear him and they all start cheering, like, that's the type of speech that really inspires confidence in dark times, and Subaru nailed it. Because the whole thing was that they're trying to figure out who could give the speech, right? And unfortunately, people who could give the speech are mutilated and kind of on bed rest. And who do we end up picking? It's, well, Subaru. And Subaru being an average guy that no one really knows at face value, I think really plays to the strength of his character, because at the end of the day, you can look at a character like Julius, who absolutely hated our boy when he first met him. And I think rightfully so, given his upbringing and how Subaru behaved. There's a reason why in Season 1, even Emilia was upset with Subaru and how he did his outburst. But at the same time, you can see the massive amount of development Subaru's had. Season 1, 2, and 3 Subaru are completely different people. And I think the reason why we can have 7 episodes, yeah, he died a couple of times at the start of this arc, but the fact that we've gone so long without a death and him overcoming, it's not simply because, oh, he got a dragon leg, that's why he gets to continue. No, it's the fact that this man's been through the ringer and he just refuses to back down. And he does things that most people would be curled up in a corner hoping someone would save. But instead, he's like, I gotta go save my girl. Like, that's what I'm gonna do. If you look at both Emilia and Subaru's development in Season 2, you really see the payoff now in Season 3. Emilia is fully believing that Subaru's got this, and in return, she has to do her part. And the fact that she did come back, and I'm fully expecting that wife is gonna die for Emilia's sake at some point. That's just my assumption. Like, Regulus is going to be a dick, and hopefully his dick gets cut off is all I'm saying, because this dude's an absolute physically, emotionally abusive douchebag. But it's going to be interesting. But his VA work and everything he's doing there, like, it's your average, like, it's the difference between a politician giving a speech and just a normal guy giving a speech. Because a politician can come in and say, yeah, we gotta we gotta clean up the town, and all the cameras are on him, versus, you know, the dude next door who's just truly passionate, like, screw this shit. Look at all this garbage around here. Let's do this. Let's clean this shit up. It's just, in this case, the garbage is the witch cult, and we're gonna brutally slaughter their bitch's ass. It ain't looking good still. Like, they definitely have a disadvantage, but when you look at Julia as someone who used to view Subaru as such a hot-headed douchebag, the development, it happened so quickly in Season 3, it felt like, but when you think about between Seasons 2 to now, his transition in opinion on Subaru not being an arrogant hothead, but actually someone who deserves his respect and can be treated as a knight, it actually is natural. It just kind of sideswipes you this season in a way that I wasn't expecting. I'm sure Subaru's still going to be a bit of a tsundere and act like him and Julius can't get along, but man, they gotta be homies after this. And hell, even Reinhardt's back now. I don't know if that means he kills his dad or he knocked his dad out, but hey, he's back and we could use all the muscle we can get. Next episode is going to come out and do one of two things. I don't think there's an in-between. They're going to brutally kill us and reset us, either to the beginning, or there's going to be a new checkpoint. My assumption would be if there is a new checkpoint, it's after he loses his leg and wakes up. I feel like that would be an interesting checkpoint if they did do that. Or there is going to be no death, and he's actually going to succeed. But they are going to leave us off for a couple of months, and I think they're going to do something big, whether that is a reset or a massive W, killing a bishop or something like that. I don't think there's an in-between, and it's going to be frightening, but it's going to be exciting to see what they decide to pull. But either way, this episode was fantastic. I do think it was like a top 10 performance for Subaru, because rather than it being like this, oh my god, listen to this specific moment in his speech, it's the entire speech. It just feels so genuine and believable. It's humble, and when he does start inspiring, you feel inspired, and you can understand why people who went from petrified that they were in it alone can now look at the people beside them and know, actually, we're not. And this man who actually has the history to back his wins is saying, we got this. It's not going to be easy, but we got this if we're all in it together. And I think that's a really powerful message overall. They have me shooketh over Al. I'm going to assume it's not a red herring at this point. There's too much emphasis being placed on this helmet-wearing bastard. But I do think there will be a bombshell someday at like Season 7 towards Al. But if he does turn out to be a scumbag villain, this might be one of the most brilliant misdirects they've ever done, because I remember in Season 1, I think it was Season 1, right? Like, he was in Season 1, it was, if not Season 2, I remember there was always discussions about him being sus, and I thought, people are overreacting. And then they do last week I don't know. I've seen so many theories about how, and any of them could be right at this point. I'm not even putting my eggs in any basket, but, ReZero, for the love of God, either commit to taking that helmet off or not. Can't keep doing this. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on this week's episode. What did you think of it? Did you enjoy the voice work as much as me? Thoughts down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Annette, Grant Ferris, Nipu, Gun Bunny, Dan Yang, True Obelisk, Sean, and we also have Yahir Sanchez. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.